Hello, 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 hello. Hi, Julie Neary. It's getting earlier and earlier. It's 9 o'clock.
Morning.
For our little morning soirees. I like that word, soiree. Can you shut the door? It's absolutely freezing.
It is a bit cold.
Yeah.
Yes, a nice please would be nice.
Please, thank you. Morning, Nadia and Mark. Just checked, and Dina's Instagram is on nearly 500 followers. That's brilliant.
No.
Yay,
Oh
that's
my
really
gosh,
good.
you're going mad.
Lola Quirolo, Heather Westgarth. Hi everyone, Gailey Hodgie, Marie Pitts, Ellie Proctor. Morning all. It is a bit chilly this morning, isn't it, Sarah WO2? Morning, watching from bed, Sarah Watkins, Simona. Yeah, I had a serious face on my Instagram post this morning. I was thinking, I don't want to pull any faces today. It's one of those ones. But it comes at a cost. When you're a face puller and you don't pull faces, people think there's something very wrong. So yeah, that was the post today. A little bit of mental health, a little bit of Monday interrogation on my Instagram. Go over to Mark_Adderley to look at my ugly mug in more closer.
I love Mondays.
Nadia loves Mondays.
Because I think it's a chance of a new beginning.
Yeah, no, I can see that. I can understand that.
I think, it's a whole new, fresh week. Anything could happen. I get kind of excited about it.
I'm really pleased because I spent the time yesterday getting work done that I would have been doing now yesterday. And so it's really nice because it means Nadia has to do the work she has to do now because I did the work yesterday, whereas if it was the other way around, I'd be sat here slavishly writing, trying to hit a deadline. So that's good, isn't it? That's kind of like quids in and...
I mean, I tell you what though,
game.
I'm really enjoying reading it.
What?
Our book.
Oh, good.
We're going through and checking all the last bits and pieces, and it's good fun.
It is good fun. It was mine and my son's birthday yesterday, Leggy Blonde Jen.
Oh.
Really? What, you both share the same birthday?
Oh, how
you
unusual.
and your son, that's quite something, isn't it?
Yeah.
Let's pull your comments up on here. So, I was just posting on the Popcorn Junkies. Has anyone else seen, or are you going to see, the new Eurovision Song Contest film starring Will Ferrell? Apparently it's supposed to be as creaky and as kitsch and as sort of really bad in a good way.
How many of you like Will Ferrell? People are very divided on Will Ferrell.
The vast majority of people don't like him.
We love him. Put yes or no. Do you like Will Ferrell? No. Yes, says Ellie Proctor. It looks hilarious, says Dawn.
It does, doesn't it, Dawn Claricoats? Rebecca Holland, yes. Nadia, I'd love to do your nails when you're free. Paint me pink, Annabelle Nail Artist. I like your name, it's very descriptive. Watching in the yes, love him.
Lovely.
Oh no, Lola Quiroli.
Some bad, some good. That's true.
Yeah, I think majority loved him in Elf. Overrated. He's had a few porkers, but I find just his lack of facial expressions hysterical when he just looks.
Maddie is obsessed. She can quote whole swathes of his dialogue.
Yeah. What was that movie that we loved? Not Stepfather. What was it? Oh God, what's the bloody...
Step Twins, when they're
the
brothers.
Christmas film, the one with the family, the Christmas family one, where him and Mark Wahlberg up against each other, but it's a sequel, isn't it?
Called?
God, I forgot what it's called.
Daddy's Home or Father's
Daddy's Home too. That's it. Yeah,
yeah.
well done. Can't stand him. Was good ages ago. Move on. Joshua Pilling.
Chelsea, we can see you if you're worrying about your comments. Chelsea Timmis, we can see you.
Yeah, we can see you.
Oh, the film has shocking reviews apparently.
Yeah, no, exactly. But is it so bad it could be good?
I don't like Step Brothers. I found it too ridiculous. I liked the one.
What, even when he played the drums with his balls?
Yeah, that to me is not funny. It's too silly. I liked though it was way too long. The one where they, oh God, what's the old-fashioned detective called?
Oh, Holmes.
Holmes. What was that film called?
Absolutely slated.
What was it
Holmes
called?
and Watson or whatever it was.
Watson and Holmes.
And there are bits. If you like him, he doesn't have to do much to make you laugh.
That's the word I'm looking for.
If you like him, he doesn't have to do much to make you laugh, I find. But if you don't like him, I can imagine it's really
Kelly
torture.
O'Brien's brother cooked for him in Sweden and he was lovely to my brother.
Oh, wow. Oh.
What was the film where he
Nanny
had to play a
Dies Better.
serious part?
Oh, he's been in a few. He was in a Woody Allen film quite a few years back where he played a serious, but he's done quite a few serious roles.
Chris Perez, mum and him were born on the same day.
Huh?
Chris Perez and his mum were born on the same day.
Oh, really? Isn't that bizarre? Melissa Murnane. Does Kat have UTI or something? Sounds scary. I slept somewhere once where the cat had it in for me. Which
I think
cat?
they're having a conversation.
Oh, I
with
see.
stupid
Oh, right,
woman.
sorry. Good morning, Madness re Leicester. Why not begin lockdown when the worries began? Oh, which is
I
great.
know.
Jackson. Yeah, no, it's ridiculous, isn't it?
What, so where are we at with Leicester? Who knows? Who knows the story? We haven't checked that this morning, actually.
I don't think the story. Well, the story. Let's have a
Hasn't
look.
moved on.
Well, the story. We'll have a look at that 6%. I just think Leicester. Lucas, no, it hasn't moved on. I just think it's something
Yeah.
that's being mooted and suggested. I don't think there's like. I don't think
What are
people are
they
running
waiting-
in the streets of Leicester. But I did. All I heard was there was a sandwich making factory with 150 employees was at the centre of something. So yeah, so there's that. But I was intrigued and I was drawn to this statistic today. Only 6% of public want life to return to pre-pandemic times. Now,
Tiny.
it is tiny.
What sort of things are people not
So
wanting?
it comes as 300 leaders from charities, trade unions, community groups are calling for the country to build back better. So this is about how we bring the country back together. And a YouGov poll showed that 31%, so a third of the public, want to see big changes in how the economy is run coming out of the crisis. And a further, so really this is about the vast majority of people not wanting to stay necessarily in lockdown. They just don't want us to return to the same value system, inequality and voracious rush and consumerism and the sense of an unequal and tilted society. And I think that's a fair point. I mean, I think that's what I was talking about earlier on. No one wants to stay locked in a house forever. Absolutely not. I'm missing all the things that I like to do in London. Nadia's missing all her friends. You know, I mean, all those things are important. But, you know, I do think it's something we have to bear in mind. I think a lot of people will have reconsidered and
Johnston.
reevaluated what life is.
Yeah,
don't
what do you think, guys? How do you feel about it? Let's have a look. What is it that you don't want? That's what I said to you this morning, didn't I? Because you were saying, "Oh, I don't want it to go back to normal." I said, "What is it that you worry about most? If you had one thing that you could keep that's changed in your life through lockdown, what would it be?" Chelsea Timmins,
things
I
haven't got
suffer
any
with
less
serious
stressful.
social anxiety, have done for a long time. I like people respecting my space now. People used to touch me in busy places and it would tip me over the edge.
Wow.
Yeah, for
Yeah.
a lot of people that don't like physical touch, I think it has been really nice.
But I think that distance...
Because a lot of people, I can even think of quite close friends that are a bit awkward when they meet because they don't know how to... Like, I've got no problem. I can kiss anyone, hug anyone. I could hold somebody's hand.
Yeah.
You know, me and Syra sit in a meeting like this and loose women together like this.
That's annoying for everyone
Sometimes
else,
me and
isn't it?
Stacey are like this.
Really?
You know, yeah.
Yeah.
Me.
Oh my God, I know what you were like at school. You were one of those girls
Me and
at
Syra
school
are
that
like
just-
this.
Yeah.
No, what do you mean?
No,
Why
I'm
did you
saying
always
it-
have to be something?
No, I'm not saying
Might be
it's...
something.
No, I'm
Oh,
not.
yeah, one of those.
No. I'm just saying it's so funny because there were girls in our class who were the cool kids, and they would all like. And this book I've just read is
Well, I
about
wasn't a
5
cool
cool
kid.
girls, and all they are is all over each other like one great
I wasn't
big.
a cool kid.
Yeah,
I
no,
wasn't. I wasn't
it's
a
a
cool.
thing. It's the thing. No,
No,
it's
it's
funny.
just that
It's sweet.
no. Where it comes from is that my mum wasn't affectionate at all with me. She very loved me very much, and I always felt very loved. But she just wasn't affectionate, and so I made a decision at a young age that I was going to be affectionate because I love affection.
Yeah.
So I.
You're
so
very
I just
lucky that hasn't
made my-
backfired for you.
And my dad is very affectionate. My dad will always
Yeah, he
hold
is,
his
isn't he?
arms
Yeah.
out, and he's really missing it. We saw him yesterday, and he said he's really, really missing. Did you hear him saying that?
I know.
Broke my heart.
I know,
He said,
it's
"I'm
very
really,
sweet.
really missing hugs."
I know.
Yeah.
Joshua Pilling, not spending on clothes, food, etc. I now know I was spending stupidly
Yeah.
and will not go out as much after lockdown.
Yeah, and we've been having takeaways again, and you watch how that money will go up.
Yeah.
We've got to stop it. We've got to have a night where we have a takeaway.
No, absolutely.
And then if it's a day where I'm tired or I don't want to cook, everyone just makes themselves a sandwich.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because we do tend to go, if I don't cook, we immediately get a takeaway.
Yeah.
And everyone could make themselves a bit of cheese on toast sometimes.
Absolutely. Grace Kelly Foylan, big day in Ireland today. A new Irish Prime Minister, creches reopen, pubs, restaurants, hairdressers. We are permitted to travel around the whole of the country now. Wow.
Wow.
Josh Dobbs, definitely homeschooling. Jane Bentley, I'm missing
What?
out
Sorry,
too.
you would keep homeschooling? So you would definitely keep the homeschooling.
I think he's saying definitely would homeschool after the experience. We can't go back. It didn't work at all. 0-hour contracts, precarious living, work-life balance was all out of whack. Well, you know, once you remove the trade unions and once you've removed any workers' rights and once you've removed any obligation on employers to protect their staff, this is what happens. And I don't necessarily see the Tories pushing that way again, which leads me to the next question. Keir Starmer is coming up much higher in polls than Boris Johnson.
People want him to be
in terms of popularity.
He was really good. I was watching him on the news this morning, and he was asked that. He said, "Well, because of course you would love to be Prime Minister, wouldn't you?"
Keir Starmer.
He said, yeah, the presenter said to Keir Starmer, and he said, "Listen, look," he said, "I'm under no illusions. I have got an absolute mountain to climb."
Yeah.
And he said, we had the most appalling general election. And it was really good. He just said, you know, he was more or less saying, there's way too much work for me to do with the party before I can even think about that. Which I really liked.
Yeah, no, I think he's not interested. He doesn't want to be seen to be egotistically chasing power. Do you know what I mean?
Josh Dobbs, keep homeschooling. Love online work, less stress. I'm in year 12. Well, that's interesting because the world would have us think that every child now that's being homeschooled is hating every second and their whole life is ruined, which of course we know is
And also,
not true.
you know, if I hear once again the sort of people in authority saying an entire generation is sliding down the Swanee if they miss school for a short period of time, it drives me mad. It's like, again, you know, everyone forces us into thinking that if there's ever any change or if anything is ever done differently, it's disastrous and terrible and
because people don't want anything questioned.
People don't want anything questioned.
That's what our book is about.
Yeah, totally.
I've enjoyed the coming together of our community, says Suzanne Stone. I don't want that to change back. I know.
Yeah.
Ellie Proctor, consumerism. Leggy Blonde, we've spent so much money in the past on stuff we didn't need. How are we going to keep on the straight and narrow with that? Like our big thing that I've noticed we've started to do is we've gone back to takeaways.
Yeah.
I mean, probably last weekend, I don't know what we spent on bloody takeaways, but it's ridiculous. What else that we haven't spent? I mean, we do go out to restaurants every week, don't we, with the kids? We go to, I mean, not flashy places, but we'll go out for a meal, which I think we'd keep. We enjoy that.
Apparently 23%, I was reading in the Times yesterday, 23% of people homeschooling would like to keep some element of homeschooling. The thing about homeschooling, I'm seeing a few people mention it.
We are Melissa Monet.
It's not about just doing one thing or another. Again, I mean, it's one of the things we talk a lot about in our book is that homeschooling totally is not right for huge numbers of people. But there are ideas and there are tactics and there are techniques in it that are really good and can really offset and can undo a bad experience in the state sector or complement it.
Christina King would keep homeschooling.
Yeah.
I mean, the thing is, I think there's a lot of people. I know Rebecca Holland. Thank you, everybody. Dina has hit 500 on her Instagram. You really is so amazing because she's just I've wanted her to start this business for so long, and that has given her. Oh, she's just sent me a text. Oh my God, your subs are the best in the world. Thank you so much.
There you go.
Like with loads of shocked emojis. She's really chuffed. I think she's a bit nervous now as well. It's like, oh my God.
Suddenly you've got lots of people that you've got to be answerable to. You were gonna...
Yeah, the point is I think so many people, like you say, Mark,
spin it on.
Lots of people, couldn't possibly imagine and don't want to homeschool their kids, and that's fine, like Mark says, but there's so much that one can complement your schooling life with, and lots that we just think we just have to accept. That is actually, I think sometimes school encroaches too much on family life and family time, homework, and all the extra things that you have to do. Anyway, we talk about that in the book.
Yeah. But So Suzanne Stone. Yeah, the social side of things is always a big worry. But do you know what? Here's an interesting thing. My two eldest daughters, they both went to conventional schools, and they had all sorts of crises based on their social experiences too. So there's an idea that simply because your child's in a school with lots of kids, that solved the social problem. It actually causes for certain types of kids. It's fine for the kind of bully or the bravura or the girl or the kids that are like, yeah, it's all right, school's great for them.
For the majority.
For the majority, yeah, no, that's fine. I think, and for periods of my life, I would say that it worked well for me as a primary school child, but it didn't at secondary. And I think the point that we're trying to make, and I think what an event like this pandemic gives us, is there are choices. We all feel in our lives stress and anxiety, and I think that stress and anxiety comes from feeling there are no choices. And what we're trying to do with the book is actually say there are choices. They don't have to be completely homeschooling, but do you know what I mean? I mean, I do think there's this idea that socialisation is a real major problem. I love the social side of school, but that was the only social thing that I was open to. And I think maybe your grandchildren, I think what's been so difficult about the lockdown is that they're missing all socialising. So it's like all children have been taken away from them to play with. It's not just the school, is it? I mean, you couldn't. Nobody's having friends round with their kids. You know, you're not having kids round you're not going to the park. And so homeschool kids do get all that stuff all the time. Someone said, are you advertising Walker's crisps? Oh yeah, no, we're not. Just I had a packet last night and left the packet. What was I going to say? Did you see what the Education Secretary said the other day, Nadia? Kids need to sit down, face the front and pay attention. He's concerned because too many are sat around square or round tables. You are joking. Oh, let's go back. Let's give them chalkboards and chalk. You know how our kids learn like this? Oh my God. On the bed, legs up, computer there, or on the sofa, or out in the garden, or on the kitchen table. What the hell does it matter? Yeah. Joshua Pilling, that's brilliant. I'm pleased that you're loving it. The point is that for people, the school system worked for me and the school system works for the vast majority. Who we're talking to here is people for whom it doesn't work. Yeah. For whom it doesn't work. If it does work, that's brilliant. I mean, of course, we can all remember teachers. I loved school. Yeah. I mean, I was terrible. Yeah. I was terrible. I was. So Joshua Pilling, no one's suggesting that we're going to, a bunch of lefties in sandals are going to come banging on your door saying, got to be schooled at home. No, what we're saying is that for some people it's really nice that for them to understand that there's a choice, I suppose. Yeah. Kieran Gill, I'm in year 12 and my school is sending mountains of work and it's getting hard to keep up with it. I guess the sixth form don't want standards to drop, but it's stressful. It is stressful. Yeah, and the other problem with a lot of schools is, yes, standards mustn't drop, but what's driving the standards is more about school standing rather than the needs of the individual child. And because it's a system that needs to get everyone through it, it needs to kind of, find the happy medium for everyone and so everyone gets plunged through the system. It doesn't cater for individuality. It doesn't. So if there's, if you can in any way cater for the individuality of your child, what we're trying to say is do it. And you can also do it in a way that doesn't mean you have to make the dramatic decision of pulling your kid out of school. No. You can cater works for a small group of people. Yeah. Jessica, I wish I was homeschooled. I had like 2.5 years off school in the end. My anxiety was so bad, I'd skip lessons, be cheeky, or just break down. I mean, I'd be fascinated to know how many kids are forced through the school system for whom the school system isn't right for them due to all sorts of reasons. Just no choices. And then finding a different way to approach their learning could have worked for them. And we understand that's not to blame the system, because teachers and everyone are doing their damnedest to make the system work. But even the weirdest thing is that the vast majority of homeschooling tutors and teachers who work out there working with homeschool kids are ex-teachers frustrated with the system. That was the biggest eye-opener to me. That told me everything I needed to know. Done 997, or she's worried about the mental health, I think you said, weren't you? Mental health conditions when we come out of here. Yeah, I mean, well, we know that's going to be a huge issue. And even when you go out, it's like Mark was saying, there's this strange sort of atmosphere. Yeah. You can't really lock people up and then unlock the door and then just say, off you go, and everyone get back to normal. Yeah. I try not to think too far ahead of what it's actually going to be like coming out of this, because it frightens me too much about all the issues that we're going to have to deal with as a society. And then as we have the worst unemployment crisis for this generation hurtling towards us as well, what's that going to cause? It's just really hard. Also the big problem is, come July the 1st, most people are either on mortgage holidays, rent, unable to be evicted. All sorts of things are going to shift. It's a bit like when people say about Brexit, it's all right, you haven't had anything bad happen because we haven't Brexited yet. That's why nothing's changed and it all seems fine, because we haven't Brexited yet. But it's the same argument. Everyone keeps saying, well, it's kind of okay. It is kind of okay now, but come the 1st of July, I'm not saying it's going to be all doom and gloom, but I promise you, a lot more companies, a lot more landlords, a lot more systems are going to start to be like, whoa, hang on a minute. And a lot of these big companies that you keep seeing headlines saying BA have got rid of 300 pilots, I think, in the last week. These are all cost-cutting measures that all these major companies have wanted to make for a long time. And they can do it under the smokescreen of this. That's not to say this hasn't impacted on them, it has. But do you know what I mean? I do think, not the worst is yet to come, but I think we've got a different reality coming.
Yeah. James Flanagan, shout out to my hair that's being cut today. My hair and I have beat the lockdown blues and we are parting ways today. Woohoo!
Goodbye, hair. I fancy some of mine coming off as well.
Georgina Duffy, work is the same as school. Most of my colleagues want to get back to the office, but I don't. So much happier and less anxious working from home. Different strokes for different folks. I wonder if more people are going to be allowed to work at home. I mean, because they've proved that they can.
Well, there was something in the papers yesterday talking about the fact that if that does happen, we have got another sort of cataclysmic, that you realise how like a living organism the economy is. So say 50% of people work from home. That means every sandwich bar and cafe in town has 50% less footfall. You know, so there's a worry that the urban centres, apparently suburban areas, shopping areas, are doing much better than
the local shop is doing really well, which is good for the world. Yeah. Gabrielle, I think homeschooling allows kids to be more engaged and study what they're interested in. Yes. VM, I have an illness which majority affects my attendance. Majorly, affects my attendance. So this homeschooling is very positive for me. When I have children, I want to homeschool them once they hit secondary age. Anne Gibson's worried about a second wave. Sarah Watkins, I agree, school doesn't cater for individuality. My son's on the spectrum and finds school so difficult. The only problem is I'm also doing a degree and don't think I could teach him full time. Well, we touched on that because the thing is, we touched on that in the book because it's not full time, that's the thing. Because kids learn a lot more in a shorter amount of time because they're not with a group of 30. Yeah. Beverly Newton, shout out please, would give my niece who's 14 a shout out. She loves you both. Her name is Renee Newton.
Hello, Renee Newton. Just for you.
Morning Zoe, morning Sarah, morning Melissa Munray, morning Ali Prentice. Do you have to be super intelligent to homeschool? Have you met me? Gabrielle, hi Chris, hi Dun997, hi Jessica. Hi Lynn Aoki. I started doing Zach Bush workout. My arms are killing me after 2 days. We'll keep it going. Keep it going.
Can I just say, bookish Viv by the sea. Companies will find themselves with buildings they no longer need as people stay working from home. You're absolutely right. I mean, when we had a very, very busy production team and what have you, we didn't want to get offices in town and spend a stupid amount of money. You know, lots of companies spend money on flash offices for the ego. It's like, look at us, this is what we are. Yeah. Because, you know, and I understand, because you've often got international clients coming in, you want to make a good impression, you want a central location.
I do love a flash office. I love
you like a flash office, but at the same time, it costs an arm and a leg. And you're right, if you've got like half your workforce going in there, why are you going to be keeping that space? All those little shifts, you know, the whole economy is going to...
Dun997 says her US friend said that colleagues at her business are working harder at home and they're getting better results too. I do think that could be a problem down the line with working at home, is that you don't switch off. Yeah. And I think the snacking all day and all that sort of stuff can be quite bad for your health. And you'd be amazed all the steps that you get just by going to work and walking around. And so everyone's become a lot more sedentary in this time, which we know isn't good for strokes, heart attacks, weight, all of that stuff.
Open plan offices, Georgina Duffy. Open plan offices are possibly the worst invention for anyone of a nervous disposition.
When I walk through ITV, I can't believe it. When I walk through the offices, I think, is this how you work? And I walk through and I'm talking and I can feel how loud.
So disruptive. Yeah, I mean, my first job as a journalist. You'd all sit. I worked for a channel that was run by the Evening Standard and, bizarrely, the Daily Mail, and we'd all sit in an open plan office. And I was on the media and arts desk, so there were about 8 journalists of us, and then there was the news desk and the politics desk and all that kind of stuff. And you would all, I mean, your cubby hole was like that, so that you just had a little bit of coverage to do your phone calls.
Horrible. That's what it's like.
Everyone was listening to everyone's phone manner.
And everyone can smell everyone's lunch. Jessica Woodstock doesn't make me laugh. Everyone is intelligent in their own way. Nadia, you're the best at cooking. Mark knows the whole world's history.
I don't know about that. The whole world.
You know the whole wide world's history.
Anyway, guys.
We better go.
Yeah, well, there you go. Coffee moaning. There's a bit of a moan
Really
and a
nice.
bit of joy.
If you're new, please hit the subscribe button. And if
Yes.
you've enjoyed this live, if you could hit
The thumbs up.
the thumbs up that's just under this breast.
Nice. Just under which breast?
This one.
Oh, look, it's just gone over 100. There you go. Lots of love, guys. And I'm not too sure what's landing later, but something will be landing
I know
later.
what's landing later. We are doing cooking live at 6:30
There you
tonight. So just to reiterate, the cooking that used to happen at 4 o'clock is now in the evenings. We're still doing 2 cooking lives a week, but they'll be in the evenings rather than the afternoon, because I think a lot of people that are going back to work didn't want to miss them. So it will be, I think we're going to call it What's for Dinner?
What's
That
for dinner?
strand.
There you
What's
go.
for dinner? So whatever I'm
Or
cooking
live
on
and
that
cooking.
night
Yeah.
is what we will be having as
Yeah.
a family for our dinner that night. So we just thought, yeah.
And what's our plans? I'm just asking what's our plans. We're going to work shit hard today, like we
Got
do most days.
loads to do.
Okay.
So we will see you. Oh, and I'm doing a bit of gardening. We're doing a surprise for the vlog. We've got some nice little bits that we're going to be filming for the vlog.
Which will be, there's a huge backlog of vlog. So
So we
we've
are
only
a couple
just-
of
we've
weeks
only just
behind with
done-
our
yeah,
with
yeah.
our vlog
We're going to be
stuff,
catching up
so-
with ourselves, only because all sorts of deadlines and books and things like that this end. All right, guys, lots of love. See you later.
Bye.
Bye.